Next up on the number one tee.
Well, hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori. Today I am joined with Adam. Hi, Adam. How are you? It's been a while.
Yes.
What's that all about? Where have you been?
I was benched and now got the call.
I'm bringing you back.
Your people called my people, and I guess I'm here.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing. We're going to be going over kind of what I learned this summer, because essentially would you say season or just kind of summer season? It's really just summer season is over, but it's the biggest tournaments of the year, biggest championships of the year.
Yes, your year is definitely not over, as you'll see, but I think it's important to distinguish the summer season and total season. Yes, yeah, that's fair.
And part of what I really like to do after these big championships is really kind of take a moment to dive into them, see what happened, see what I learned from them, see what was good, see what could have been better. And so moving forward, I guess our best bet we have is to have something be learned and ingrained in our golf psyche.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Well, it's happening regardless. Now, what you do with that is up to you.
That's a good point. So we're going to talk about a little bit about last year and then go into this year and chat about 3 championships we're going to touch on: the Arizona 4-ball, the Arizona Mid-Am, and then the Arizona Women's Am that I just finished actually yesterday. So before we get into that, we got to talk about the Desert Classic though, because today, this episode's dropping on Monday, August 7th, and we are opening up registration tomorrow for the 2024 Desert Classic. Can you believe it's that time of year?
I think it's a good idea. Do it early.
We're doing it early. We want to make sure everyone has lodging that is still somewhat affordable. I mean, because not only is golf ridiculously expensive in the Scottsdale area, lodging can get insane in March too. So we are opening it up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 11 a.m. Eastern. And first 110 teams are in. We've moved it up to 110 officially, which actually I'm going to ask your opinion on this, okay? Because we used to be at 100 teams, but I always go over, because what happens is it oversells. I get too generous. I want to please as many people as possible. I want to get as many people in as we can. So I was like, okay, we've consistently had 220 players now the past couple events. So let's just start off. That's how many we're letting in. But here's the thing, with 220 players, which is 110 teams, I still want to just have 10 flights. So I'll just have 11 teams per flight. Done. Okay, and we'll keep pace of play relatively even with morning shotgun 5 flights and afternoon shotgun. But then I thought, well, that's an odd number for foursomes. I'm going to have 1 twosome, which is fine. I'll get a marker for both of those twosomes. So there'll be a twosome. I'll have a what is it called? Spotter. No, not a spotter.
You don't want a marker spotter, no. All you're going to do is slow down play. You're just going to have to take somebody from flight 5 is going to have to play with somebody from flight 6. Sorry. It's happening. You're not putting markers out there. That's way too many people. You're already maxing this thing out.
Okay. Well, you know what? These are the things I think about and I contemplate.
If I was on the committee, I would throw a flag, okay? I would say, hey, no markers.
Okay, so we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's
table that.
Okay, so our first 110 teams are in.
That's the important part.
But here's the thing. You can register as a team, or as always, you can register as a single player, and then I will help pair you with another single player that is registered. I'll try and make it as close of a handicap index spread as possible.
Break that out for a second. How many people the last few years have signed up individually versus with a partner?
So the first year, I think we had close to 40 single players.
Right, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I think last year did go down a little bit, but I want to say we were still close to 30. Because here's the thing. Those single players that came the first year came back the second year and they had a partner. Like they knew they were going to come back. They spent a year and, they figured out what, a partner to bring. So the single players are going down, but they're still substantial. Now at Dallas, I think I have a ton of single players because at the Dallas Shootout in October, I would say, gosh, Adam, 60%, maybe 55% of the names that are signed up, I don't recognize from previous events. So we do have another slew of another big group of single players.
One, that's a good thing. But for everybody listening, kind of a big thing, right? Like, hey, a third half of these fields are from people that are probably on the fence. Like, hey, do I even want to go? Can I go if I don't have a partner?
Yeah.
Obviously you can.
No, absolutely you can. And fun fact, we have Ireland coming up in September. We're almost a month away from leaving. And for Ireland, we have 12 players. 4 of them are friends from California, and then the rest of them are all singles. So that'll be fun.
Kind of important. Now, if I'm in the U.S. Women's Mid-Am, is that going to conflict with?
It does. Yeah. Okay. This is a touchy subject, but yes, for next year, for when we go to Scotland, it does not conflict with the U.S. Women's Mid-Am. So we will be trying to qualify for that next summer. Anyways, a couple other questions that I get a lot about the Desert Classic. What's the average handicap index? I get a lot of women that think that they're not good enough to play in the tournament, or they think that they're all, single digit players playing. That is not the case.
They are not.
The average handicap index is a 14, is usually around a 14, but the range is, +3 all the way to a 40 handicap index. Now, our max that we play to is a 36. But let's say by the time, you're a 40 handicap index, you can still play. You're just going to play to a 36. So that's the max. But there is a huge range. Again, it's flighted, and you're always playing with players that are within your flight. So you're playing with people at the same handicap index, range, skill level. So it's totally comfortable.
And there's max scores.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
No, there isn't.
In a partner, you can't post 12s.
Yeah, you can if that's your best ball. The format we're going to do is scramble and best ball. 2 days of best ball, 1 day of scramble.
We're not doing double net.
No, that was, you know what? That was a quota thing. In quota, you have a max.
Well, Carrie's not going to let you shoot at 15. She's going to tell you to pick it up. So.
Carrie,
so there's that.
Carrie's the tournament director, so she might be able to let you. Anyways, I don't want to go into that. Another question I get is age range. Like, what's the ages going on here? And honestly, it is a huge spread. I'd say we go from 30 years old all the way to 75 years old. And again, Adam, you can attest to that. You've seen the tournament the past 2 years. It is
a wide range of handicaps and ages. So all of you who are thinking about one of those being a deterrent, I would not.
Players are coming from all over the U.S. and Canada. The first year in particular, we had over 33 different states represented, and like 5 teams come from Canada. So all over, you're going to meet a lot of new people from a lot of new areas. With the partners, it's a 10-stroke differential. So you want to try and play with someone that's within 10 strokes of your handicap. But let's say you can't find anyone and you really want to play with a certain player that's 15, your spread is 15 strokes. It's not a big deal. The higher handicapper will play to, within 10 strokes. And we have gross and net prizes. So you just go for gross. There's just as many gross prize opportunities out there as net. So there's lots of opportunities. And we have day money. And like I said, there's scramble, or the format is scramble and 2 days of best ball. That's kind of the gist of it. I would say the other question I get a ton is, can I request to play with so-and-so? Say you're coming with a big group of people and you really want to play with them a lot of the days. Like I said, the pairings are determined within the flight and they're totally random. So it's all based off handicap index, and we have a shotgun in the morning and a shotgun in the afternoon. So if you are coming with a big group of women, a big group of friends, whether it's 4 friends or 10 friends, there is the possibility that part of the group is playing in the mornings and part of the group is playing in the afternoons, and there's nothing we can do about it. I get requests every year from multiple people saying, can I please have the morning shift? Or can I please have the afternoon shift? And there's just nothing I can do. I can't, if I start taking special requests, it is going down a rabbit hole of revisions.
Can I say some sexist?
Revision town.
Can I say some sexist stuff?
Well, okay. What are you going to say?
I was just going to speak up for like you and Ashley because you guys don't have the huevos to say it. I mean, for the people listening, you got 200 plus women. You ever try to have 5 get together for a breakfast or a lunch? It's difficult, okay? So now we're talking about 200. You guys are bombarding with questions about, can I play with this person? Can I play in the afternoon? Can I do this so I can reach my spa? Come on, man. Just take your tee time. You're going to have plenty of time with everybody there. Have fun. You're going to have plenty of people to talk to.
And you're going to think about the people that are signing up for this event. I mean, it is an investment. It's much more expensive than, just your everyday invitational or state tournament. They're coming to have a good time. So you're going to be paired with people that you don't know, that you're meeting for the first time. Trust me, they are there to have a good time. The odds are in your favor that you will play with new friends and you will really like them. So no, there's no need to worry about that. But it's funny bringing Adam on the show because
he's funny. No, okay.
Well, because you're always coming from a man's perspective. And I think we can all agree that women's golf is different. We come for the community. We want to meet new people. We want to dance, have good food. Well, we want
to move our shoulders and hands a lot when we talk.
We want to have average food. Let's be honest with the food. But, it's more about the community and having a good time than about the competition, even though I like a competition.
My view of women's golf has been changed. It is very different from Dudeville.
Yes.
And it's way more atmospheric, way more jovial.
Is atmospheric a word?
It should be. Okay.
Okay.
It's yes. It's all about event.
Yes.
Not about you.
It's about the experience.
It's about the experience.
Experience. Okay. And just to cover a couple more things about the event. Where to stay? I get that question a lot. I always refer people to stay at the Andaz Resort in Scottsdale. And the reason why I refer them out to that is because most likely we're going to have our shopping night there. So it's an easy walk to shopping night on Sunday the 3rd, March 3rd. It's a really nice resort. So if you want a resort atmosphere and you want, really nice rooms, multiple pools, multiple restaurants, and you want that luxury experience, the Andaz in Scottsdale is a great option. Now, if you just want to be close to the course, which the majority, really everything at the Desert Classic is at Papago other than shopping night. If you just want to be at a decent hotel near the course, stay at the Airport Marriott. Okay. It's a nice hotel. It's less expensive than the Andaz, and it's within a half a mile of Papago. So you're really close. If you want to get a VRBO, which is another thing that's very common, make sure you're looking at the distance between the golf course, Papago, and wherever you're reserving the VRBO, because Scottsdale is large. So just because it's a VRBO in Scottsdale, you could easily be 35 minutes away from Papago.
Or more.
So you want to be close to the golf course. I'd say I would say there's plenty of VRBO options that are nice within 5 to 7 miles.
No, I think your point of either being close to Papago or close to Andaz is the key, because between those two, anything in there is going to be great. I mean, next to Andaz, you got Scottsdale Resort thing. That's huge.
Yeah, no, there's lots of good options.
So just stay close to those two. You'll be fine.
Yeah. This year, we are not doing a formal retreat package as there has been in previous years. If I get feedback that is wanted and desired after this year, then we might look into something in 2025. But for this year, we will not have a formal retreat package. But just remember, this event is nonstop. We try and jam pack each day with a ton we have instructional clinics, we have lunch and dinner and activities at night on top of the actual golf. So you're going to be busy. It's not a lot of downtime. It is a full women's golf experience. So if you haven't been to the Desert Classic yet, I highly suggest it. I do think it will sell out pretty quick. So again, get your alarms set. It will go up for registration tomorrow, Tuesday, August 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
8 a.m. Pacific, PST, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So now, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Remind everybody who's listening, how long did it take to sell out last year?
7 minutes.
Okay. So there you go. There's your window.
Yeah. And so what you'll need to sign up is your name, your GIN number, your home course, address, phone number, email address. Obviously, you know all that on the top of your head, but you'll need the same information for your partner too. The only people that can sign up as a single player is if you legitimately don't have a team. If you have a team, you have to sign up for a team. and you need all your partner information in order to sign up. Do you think I got everything there? I think so.
I don't know what you're missing. I guess they got.
You're going to get an email. Make sure you're on the email list. You'll get an email on Tuesday morning letting you know that it's open. Here's the link. Go sign up. And that's that. That is the 2024 Desert Classic. I'm excited for registration. It's exciting.
Hey everyone! If you're looking to improve your golf game but aren't tracking your stats out on the golf course yet, I have the perfect tool for you to download, print, and use during your next golf round. Now, have you ever wondered what you really need to be focusing on during your practice sessions? Or if you have a limited time to practice, I know I do, don't you want to be using that time on working on the weakest parts of your game to see improvement the quickest? The stats that you start measuring will give you the feedback needed to improve your game and lower your scores. Now, a lot of us really want to improve our game, but don't even know where to start. The Round Report Card is a tool that you can download completely for free, print it off, and use it right away. This tool has helped me not only know exactly what to practice, but it also keeps me focused and engaged during my golf round. And here's the best part. I don't need my phone out during my round to do so. So to get your hands on this free printable download, check out the podcast show notes or visit roundreportcard.com to grab a copy today. Again, that's roundreportcard.com.
Let's get into this year.
Yes.
I'm fresh. I'm fresh off the Arizona Amateur.
Off of the chopping block. Here it is.
Oh my God. And I was chopped.
You were chopped. Full body, full-born assessment time. Unpack. Yeah. Let's go.
I think before we unpack, we have to kind of say where I was a year ago.
I agree.
So a year ago, last August, 2022, I felt like I was playing the best golf of my life.
And our useless handicap did reflect that.
To the listeners, Adam is not pro handicap index. He is, he's gross all day long. Even though, I mean, an overall net prize.
Nothing gets me more excited.
Okay, so a year ago, I really thought I was playing the best golf of my life. Most of us think, as a golfer, we sometimes think and hope it can only go up. I'm sure last August, I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm going to obviously be a +3 in a year. Obviously.
Or
it's
less.
it's only going up.
Yeah, where's that Cactus Tour sign up?
Yeah, exactly. Like, where do I print off my LPGA application?
I know.
In reality, what happened is a huge, what's the word? Disappointment? No, setback. I think setbacks.
Well,
better.
I think we're jumping the gun. So you cited August, but let's talk about how last year ended up. Maybe touch on a couple of those events that, you felt good, not just in August. You were feeling good into September, October.
Yes,
November.
Absolutely. I mean, I did have a couple events last year that were embarrassing, on the side of embarrassing, but it was usually just one round. I'd open up a tournament and shoot a 92, but then the next two rounds would be really good rounds.
Well, let's talk about those for a second. So you had not
last year's
but you had
State Am
right.
was at Anthem Country Club.
Yeah.
I think I opened up with I don't remember, 87, 88, 89, somewhere in there.
Right.
And then I proceeded to shoot 74, 75, the two rounds after.
Okay, but then we also have, what was it, Tupac?
I won the Scotch Play, Flagstaff Ranch in October.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm going a different direction.
You're going back in April.
No, I'm saying the tournaments that you had your big rounds.
Yeah.
There was probably 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
But they were all what?
First round.
Jitters.
To say the least, yes.
So the point being, after you got that out of the way, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I was able to recover.
You recovered.
And, go out with the goal of, let's see what we can do here.
Right. So not a total mental and emotional collapse, just a marginal one.
Yes.
So that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yes. So I was able to turn it around.
So on all of your blow-ups, massive blow-ups, like, oh my God, what am I doing? You still stuck each one of them out, turned them around somewhat.
And finished.
Not just finished, but finished well.
Yeah. Now, this year's been a little different. This year's been good starts.
Let's delve into this year.
So this year, Arizona, let's start with it. Again, we're going to kind of review 3 of my major championships. And I want you all to remember, if you're listening, this is all relative. So when I say my big 3 championships of the year, this could be your big 3 tournaments of your year, whatever that is, whether it's the club championship, an invitational, anything that means a lot to you. These 3 tournaments mean a lot to me. Let's keep it all relative. And that's why I'm sharing about my experience, because I know that a lot of this, we're all still golfers at the end of the day, and we all still experience mostly the same thing. Wouldn't you agree, Adam, at any level?
Yes, that's why we're doing this, because this relates to everyone listening.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah. So let's start with the Arizona 4-ball. So this is a partner tournament, 2-day. It was at Sterling Grove this year. My partner was Corey Waworski. Do you know that when I was growing up, I had to go to speech therapy because I couldn't say my R's? So that's why a lot of times I can't. It's like hard. It's really, can you say her name? Just right off the bat, Corey Waworski.
Yeah, it's almost like Shvedachinski.
So Corey was my partner, an amazing player. She competes at a national level year round. We're going to have her on the podcast soon, hopefully, because she has some amazing stories to share. She was U.S. mid-amateur champion, I want to say.
Has she not been on the podcast?
9 years ago? No, she hasn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And she told me the story of the year that she won the Mid-Am, and it's such a great story. So hopefully
what tournament was that again?
The USGA Mid-Am, Women's Mid-Am Championship.
I've heard of it.
So we go into Sterling Grove. I didn't play a practice round, and we shoot a very good score. We were both on fire that day. We were both, staying in play, making tons of putts. We had lots of birdies between the two of us. And so going into day 2, we were 5 ahead going into day 2, which is the final day too. So I got to say, looking back, I do now see I did get nervous. I did get tight. And I could see Corey getting tight too. We were playing with Kim and Tara, really good golfers, both tournament golfers. They know what they're doing. They know what they have to do. They've seen it all. They play lights out that second day, while Corey and I are just kind of guiding our ball through the course.
Right. So at what point in round 2, that we don't need to go full deep dive here, but at what point in round 2 did you really feel like, oh shit?
When we made the turn, they had caught up to us. So they evened it up after the 9th hole. And
5
I remember
shots gone.
5 shots gone. And I turned to Corey and I said, okay, well, let's go. Match play now. And we go into the back 9, and Tara and Kim actually give a couple back to us. So we roll up to, fast forward to the 18th tee, and Corey and I are up by 1. It's a birdie hole. We're up by 1. We got a little bit of a cushion there.
Where's the trouble?
On the 18th tee, it's a par 5. There's trouble on the left, and there's trouble on the right, but it's not as penal as the left, which is out of bounds. Tara and Kim have the tee box. Kim puts it in play. Tara bombs her tee shot down the left-hand side, which I know is perfect. She'll have 150 yards in on a par 5. She really cuts the corner and hits it perfectly. And I'm thinking, shit, she's most likely going to birdie. I step up to the tee box and take my driver, because I feel like I got to do exactly what Tara did.
Wrong.
And actually, Corey won off first. She teed off first. She hooks her drive. I do not think it's out of bounds whatsoever. Not even close. I do not think it's out of bounds. If I did think it was out of bounds, then I would have clubbed down. I go up and proceed to hit it out of bounds, my drive. And mine for sure is out of bounds. So we go up, we see Corey's ball out of bounds. We see my ball out of bounds. And we have totally fucked that up.
Yep.
So I end up getting a 6 on the hole. Tara ends up birdieing it. And just like that,
see you
on the 18th hole, she gone.
Played your opponent, not the course. What happened?
We lost.
Not even in match play do you play the opponent. You play the course.
With that in mind, the first day I did use a driver. So maybe I wasn't playing that hole correctly. Again, I didn't have a practice round. And I didn't really know the first day how penal that left side was, because it does, if you go too far left, it will just run more left. You know, it's not like it's going to stop in anything.
I don't know if trying to justify this decision helps the conversation.
Well, no, I'm just saying, what should I have done if I used the driver the first day and it worked out great?
The first day. I don't care what you hit the second day or the year after or the year before. You play the course. And in that situation where you know you have a lead, if you go out there and two top tier players make par, that means they got to make a birdie just to tie you.
Yeah.
So if they go out and they throw an eagle at you, big bird, okay, shit, let's figure out,
yeah,
we lost, right?
Yeah.
You didn't lose, you gave it away.
Yeah. So in that sense, going in that scenario, you're going in saying, I'm just parring this. I'm playing for par.
I'm going to make an easy par. And if a birdie drops, great. Yeah. Because now they got to make a big bird. Instead, you guys gave it away.
Yeah.
So next one.
So that was a tough loss. That was a tough one.
Tough L, but what did we get? We learned hopefully something.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
So actually going into the Arizona Mid-Am, I would argue, and I hate admitting this, and you might not like that I'm admitting it, the Arizona Mid-Am was the tournament I really wanted to win. Like I think that was my goal at the beginning of the year, was to win the Arizona Mid-Am. So I had a lot of expectations.
We'll come back to that, but yeah, keep going.
Going in. I think it needs to be noted too for the Arizona Mid-Am, which was at TPC Champions course. I did play a practice round there, but it was way back in the winter. So I kind of knew the course, but whatever. For the Arizona Mid-Am and for the AZM, I wanted to back out of each of the events.
Yes, that's important.
To the point where before the Arizona State Am, I texted Leanne, who's our tournament director, and I said, I might be backing out. When is the last possible time I can back out without screwing you up? Because at some point she's got to make pairings. And if I back out too late, it kind of screws all that up. So I texted her. I said, okay, what's my deadline? Because I don't think I want to play. So she gave me that deadline. Fast forward, I did show up. But for both of these tournaments, I strongly considered not playing. And I went into the Arizona Mid-Am with a full game plan, what to use off the tee, what my targets were going to be, what side of the green, like I was making notes. Okay, your girl was making notes.
We weren't freewheeling.
No, I went in with a plan, and the first round went well. I was a little comatose. The beginning of a menstrual cycle. Sorry, Adam, but this is a woman's podcast, okay? The listener understands where my head was at that first day. But I was almost like in a fog. It was just like robotic that day. I even told my kart partner, Susie, who I think Susie might be listening to this podcast. I said, Susie, I'm going to be quiet today. If I don't talk, I'm sorry. I'm not in the mood.
This was the red wedding day.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam. Yes.
This is a women's pod. Okay. We go through this. Yes. We all go through this.
Yes. So I actually, through all of that, I had a very good round. And I remember talking about it after saying, I was really proud of today's round. I hit a lot of shots. I made a lot of putts. For the most part, the game came together. I was patient.
We fought right through it.
Yep. Really good. I think it's 75. So I go into the second and third round and it's just a mess and it's nothing like the first round. And that tournament, that championship ends up being a ginormous disappointment. It did not motivate me. I'll say that. It had the opposite effect, where sometimes when you have these tough times on the golf course, you can go in two separate directions. One, it motivates you to work harder. Two, it
discourages the shit out of you.
Yes. And that was discouraging to the point where I didn't want to play anymore. And I don't think I played much more in between that tournament and the next invitational I was playing, which was about 4 weeks later. So what did I learn from that? I had a lot of distractions going on right then. So a lot of distractions personally, a lot of distractions work-wise. My focus was completely derailed. I just didn't have a clear head whatsoever.
We're in about June now, right?
We're in June.
Okay. So going back to this whole handicap index arc, we're at plus through basically all of last year, first part of this year, then Desert Classic hits, right?
Yeah. So
we go from what to what?
Again, a year ago is when my handicap for the first time reached a plus level. And it stayed in the plus, went all the way up to plus 1.5. I believe, but stayed in the plus range all the way up until March, which was the Desert Classic. So I would say I kind of shut down any sort of golf training, legitimate golf training in February. I clicked into Desert Classic mode. Personal stuff happened in the spring, and it's just, there was no golf. There was no good training going on.
Right. There was golf, but it wasn't to the same degree and standard and focus because other stuff's going on. And that's what everybody listening has. Everybody has the same thing. Even guys at the professional level. Do you think it's unique that when chicks on the LPGA get married or start to have kids, everything changes, right? Their scores go in a total different direction. Yeah. Ricky Fowler, when he gets married, look what happened to him. He goes from top 5 to 500. You know, it can happen to the best of the best. And it does, because the personal stuff matters.
So again, fast forwarding to now this AZM, it's at Desert Highlands, a course that I was terrified of. Again, like I said, I was to the point where I was texting the tournament director saying, I think I'm not going to show up next week. I think it was recording podcasts that kind of pushed me to the other level, where I had the podcast recording with Mike Booker in regards to episode 61 about being a tournament player. And I was reading that book to help prepare for the podcast episode. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to show up. I have to show up. Even if it's just to have the challenge of going onto a course that I am terrified of and figuring it the fuck out.
Or don't, but the process is worth something.
Going into Desert Highlands, again, I wrote up a full game plan of what I was going to do, what club I was going to use off the tee. Adam, can you explain Desert Highlands to the listener?
That's one of the highest degrees of trickery that you can concoct. So I put it out there with, I was trying to explain this to somebody else is, what course can I compare that to because they haven't seen Desert Highlands, if you haven't seen Desert Highlands, but if you've seen Quintero or if you've seen
Desert Forest,
Ventana. No, it's not like Desert Forest. Desert Forest is a different type of animal, but like Ventana, it's just, you have all sorts of cutoffs, runouts. If you don't know where you're going, you don't go out there and free wing it there. You just don't. If you do, you're going to be pulling a lot of balls out of your pocket and going back to the tee a lot because, as you know, there's just desert everywhere. So yeah, you have to be somewhat ready. You have to be somewhat focused. And I'll let you kind of go through the mechanics and details of what you pulled out of it. But the point is that is not anything like the courses you really like. Your style, your sweet spot is what you call parkland, but it's the non-desert stuff where you can still find your ball if you pull it left or push it way right and have some type of shot. Well, in hardcore desert golf, you don't get that. And this is kind of the epitome of that.
And so I had a full game plan of what I was going to use. I left my driver at home completely because I just don't even want the temptation to use it. And even being in my car trunk is not an option. Like I'll still be pulling that out. So it had to stay at home. I was using woods and hybrids off the tees. And again, I knew exactly what club, whether it was my 3-wood, 5-wood, or 4 hybrid that I was going to use off the tee before I even got to the tee. I had a full plan written out. And even to the degree of, I kind of estimated what my approach shot might be or what my layup shots would be. I knew what to practice, knew what clubs to hit before the round.
But sticking to the bigger theme, though, talk a little bit about how big and good this field was. So you basically playing, this was your biggest event of the year, bigger than Mid-Am because it had more people, had better players on a course that was not at all designed or suited to you. And you're going into it still not really ready. I mean, we've just had 30 plus days of 110 plus, so you haven't been practicing. You haven't been practicing because of the heat. You haven't been practicing because of other stuff going on. You're mentally not there. Thinking about pulling out, all of that stuff's working against you. You still get in there. And how did you think? I mean, you fought it out, hung whatever you shot, and talk about where you fell in the field and how that felt.
Like Adam was saying, the field is phenomenal. Some of the best young players and, really all ages, but I'd say the majority of players that are playing, they're at the high school or college level. Some of the best golfers in the country. And that too was part of the reason why, I was texting Leanne saying I was going to back out because there's in no universe am I winning this championship. And I know you'll hate me saying that, Adam, but I also know reality, and it's just not like I'm not there yet. And I especially wasn't there this year. And I just knew that.
Well, that was a bad attitude. And I think towards the end, especially those last 9 holes, from what I can tell, I think you realize that you can. 'Cause, I mean, you basically sleptwalked what was it, 1 or 2 over last 9 holes?
Yeah, 2 over.
It wasn't great golf by any stretch. Mm-hmm. It was sleepwalking golf. What I mean by that is you weren't playing light. There was no chip-ins. There was no hole outs. You didn't make anything over 4 feet the last 9 holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was no lights out golf here. There was no lucky shots. There's none of that. So the capable, right? Just like the handicap is your potential to do this. You've seen in real life, hey, actually, if I do execute my game plan, if I do block out all this other stuff, I can do that. So that's why your attitude was wrong, that you couldn't win that, because you actually could have. Had you had that right mindset, you could have been more competitive. No less, you weren't. So we shot what we shot.
Yeah. Because again, it wasn't even just, don't think my golf game was ready for the championship, but I don't think I was mentally ready for the championship whatsoever.
Not even close.
Yeah. So I went into it thinking, okay, I have a game plan. I'm going to do the best I possibly can on this golf course. And round 1, I actually, again, stuck to the plan. For all 3 rounds, I stuck to this plan. After playing round 1, which I shot an 80, I was actually pretty proud of that 80. I was okay with round 1. Going into round 2, I realized that there's some holes that I could be a little more aggressive on. So when I used my 4 hybrid the first day, I would use either my 5 wood or 3 wood the second day. And then the third day, I had full confidence that my game plan was a really good plan. One of the best things I could take from this tournament is I was able to be patient. I was able to follow the plan. I was able to play this course the way it's supposed to be played. And I'm proud of that.
Well, right. But let's talk about for a second, what were you thinking about pre-tournament rise, right? That you made this post about, the fairways are shrinking.
Yeah.
Clenching this, that, clenching
so
that.
Multiple times on day 1, I'm standing out there, playing the round. And I thought, and I kept thinking to myself, it's really not that bad. Like I'm looking at the fairways, I'm hitting the fairways, or even if I had an errant tee shot here and there, I was still pretty safe. And I kept thinking, it's not that bad. What was I freaking out about? It really is just fine. Like, because I took my driver out of play, I'm able to keep it in play, and I'm able to still get on green in regulation. Everything's okay. Like, we can do this.
Which applies to every golf course everywhere. No matter how difficult it looks, once you play it once or twice, you're going to get a little more used to it. You're going to realize here's where I can and can't go. You realize it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah. And on day 2, my cart partner, her name was Emily, she turned to me and she goes, if you can play desert courses in the summer, you can play anywhere. She said that at the most perfect time because it energized me. It was like, you know what?
How old was she? You said a high schooler? No.
I think she was like second year college, sophomore in college.
Still a teen.
Yep. Transferring to Kentucky.
So here we have this. Everybody knows you're 40 now.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Okay.
I'm
this
fine.
This 40-year-old is getting advice from a teen about how to get perspective at playing golf.
Yep.
In tournament golf, no less.
Yeah.
And that was a motivating piece.
Yes. That it just assured me like you're doing something that's tough. You're hanging in there. You're following the plan. You're doing good. Like you're doing good. You're doing good. And the other point I want to make throughout the rounds that I kept thinking about, in all 3 rounds, the girls that I was playing with were playing steady golf. They were parring most holes. They were playing good shots. Like they're good players and they were playing really well. And at some point in that round on the front 9, they had a complete blow up hole and it happened so fast. And I remember thinking to myself on the green all 3 days, because this happened all 3 days with both of my playing partners, because it was threesomes. So with every player I played with on the front 9, they had a huge blow up hole on the front. And I remember thinking, you just have to prevent that. You just have to prevent that from happening. Don't have a huge blow up hole because it happens so quickly. And for me, on day 1, my blow up hole was on number 11. I had to chip over a bunker. I thought I'd get cute with it. And it got so cute that it landed in the bunker.
Not cute.
Not cute. And you know what I did after that? I left it in the bunker again.
Why not?
So essentially 3 chips to get on the green.
Almost like 3 shots to get off the 9th tee.
Yeah, and that was day 3. But 3 shots, 3 chips to get on the green on number 11, which was a par 5, 2-putt, and all of a sudden I have an 8. All of a sudden I got a triple.
Could have been a 7.
Could have been a 7. Could have been a 6, really. If I had just gone to that chip shot and say, you know what, you need to just get this on the fucking green.
Oh.
You know, like you've already screwed the hole up as far as hitting it short-siding yourself. Just get on the green, 2-putt, move on. It's okay. You can make up a bogey.
Yes, you can. Can you make up an 8?
No.
It's a bit harder.
It's a bit hard on hole 11.
It is.
You know, with 7 holes to go. So I just remember, like, everyone is going to have that blow-up hole. And usually the players that don't have those gigantic blow-up holes, they're usually at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, they are. And Ashley and Abby are incredible players that are top shelf nationwide.
Yeah.
So
Ashley Menny came in first place. Abby Schutte came in second place.
We're talking about the top, but let me use this topic to segue to something I think is more profound for the listening crowd. So we're talking about 2 of the top girl amateurs in the nation, Abby Schutte, Schutte, and Ashley Menny. Only 2 people in this. How many people were in this total, you think? About 100? No,
it's 60.
Yeah, 60, more than 60, but let's just say it's 60. Only 2 of them finish in the red.
And when Adam says in the red, that means under par.
Under par. I don't know if you look through the rest of these numbers, but I'm counting shit. You had 2 chicks shoot over. You have plus 126 and plus 137 at the bottom of the field. So just like you had, now they were outliers, right? Not most of them. So that was 2 really bad ones, just like you had 2 really great ones who finished under par. But the point is that I'm trying to make is you have at least half of the field shot 25 over or more. And we had plenty that were over 50 over par. So again, for these people who are afraid of this blow-up hole, afraid of shooting too much to embarrass themselves, here's the AGA Women's AM. Half of the field shooting 25 plus or higher, and a quarter of it shooting 40 over par or more for the tournament.
Yeah.
So if you can compete, get out there and test it and see what it's like. And don't feel bad if you're hanging 85s, because guess what? That's pretty normal.
Well, and that I'm actually really glad you brought this up, because that every time I've had a bad hole or a bad 9 holes, you know, in a tournament like this, that's multiple days and it's stroke play. You always have that thought that crosses your mind. It's over. Like, I screwed up. It's done.
And maybe it is if you're trying to win.
No, well, but here's the thing, Adam. It's never over. Meaning, like, every time I'll have, so the first round 1, I shoot an 80. I go look at the leaderboard.
Yep.
The fact is I'm not out of it.
You ain't.
But you think in that moment, like, it's done. Like, there's no way, like, there's nothing to play for. I'm most likely in last place. Every single time I think that the tournament's over, it's not true. Like, after round 3, I'm looking at the leaderboard. I'm thinking, I could have, even after that 10, I still could have been top 20. I still could have squeaked into top 20. Or the mid-am, especially the mid-am. Mm-hmm. That final round at the mid-am was horrible. And I'd argue after the front 9, I was probably saying to myself, who the fuck cares anymore? I just want to get out of here. I proceeded to have just as bad of a back 9 as the front 9. And the reality is if I got my shit together after that front 9 and shot a decent score on the back, I would have been top 10. And it's like, you don't think like that when you're in the middle of this chaos on the golf course. But every single time I have just said, fuck it and let it go, I regret it, because I look at the leaderboard after and said, oh no, there was a chance to do better.
And that's the calmness, that's the wisdom coming out after the fact. It's good that you're seeing that. Again, coming back to the bigger picture of this show, is that, you know, realize that it's so hard to stay present in the present. Because you're thinking that, you know, I just blew it, I just lost it, I just embarrassed myself, and I do it too. You've seen me do it. Mm-hmm. So everybody has that feeling. It's those who can manage that and just put it behind them. And I'm going to segue that in just a second, because I want to come back to one more final point that I think hits on that a little better, a little harder in using the women's AM here in a second. But there's another thing that I think helps not just you, but the rest of the listenership here. And that is, if you can do that, if you can stay present and ignore that immediate knee-jerk reaction of embarrassment, anger, frustration, you're going to appreciate that after the fact. Mm-hmm. You're going to realize that, you know, yes, maybe the tournament is over, but how many times do you win a tournament? You, more than most women, they have a chance to win it. Most of these women don't have a chance at all. They're out there to actually compete. They're the ones truly competing. You're out there trying to win. Most of them are just there to compete. When you're out there shooting like those scores I showed you, 40, 50 over, you think any of them had a slightest chance of thinking they're going to win anything, even in their flight? No.
Well, and even a year ago when I'm playing what is my best golf ever, I'm still maybe winning 1 or 2 events that year.
Right.
That like you don't like winning a golf tournament is something extremely special and rare.
It is special and rare, and it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard. Okay. It's hard to win tournaments. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. And for those listening that can appreciate it is you're there maybe to win. Maybe. I think only 10, 15% of most fields truly have a chance to win any tournament. What you're really there to do is test yourself. What can I do under this type of different pressure? What can I do at this type of golf course? What can I do in this type of situation that I don't get at my home course? To me, that's really what these tournaments are about. Yeah, because that's how you assess where you're at. That's how you can see, hey, how much more can I go? Can I achieve to be in the top 10 next year? Can I achieve to actually compete at this next flight up next year? It's not about winning the whole thing. It's about what are your stepping stones? What does your path look like?
Okay, so it only makes sense then. We only have a couple minutes left, but I think it only makes sense then to explain the final round at the State Am yesterday. I did talk about it on my Instagram stories today, so a little behind the scenes. Going into 3rd round, I'm playing well. I feel really good over the ball. I'm finally striking it well. Like it feels good. Everything's looking good. So I text Adam. I said, Adam, why don't you come meet me on the back 9, caddy for me on the back 9, and let's see what we could do. I mean, maybe we can post something low, like he's got the same thoughts. Like maybe we can post something low and actually be top 20, maybe even scratch top 15.
5th, 6th hole-ish?
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm playing good golf. So I feel like, oh, wow, this could, when you start off strong, you feel like, okay, this might be something. So I text him and he actually doesn't reply back, but I proceed to get a 10 on number 9. And after I top 2 balls into the bush, I'm actually just assuming you heard my story on Instagram, but I ended up topping 2 tee shots into a bush and I got a 10 on number 9, which is a par 5. But after I'm starting to hit my approach shot, I take out my rangefinder. I go, oh my God, fucking Adam's here. And I just got a 10 on number 9 when our whole goal was like to try and shoot low today. And so I go up and I tell him the news. I say, I just got a 10 on number 9. I go, you don't have to stay. Like you go back to work, I'll end this or, finish this up and it's done. And what'd you say?
Fun just started. It's a party now.
But at that point, round is over pretty much as far as final score wise. How did we change our mindset going into the back 9?
Well, my opinion is that, and this is the point I was trying to segue into as far as a minute ago, but this does it with a great example is relieve that pressure. There's no more pressure now. You already blew the tournament on the first day. You effectively shot yourself out of winning.
Yeah, but we're trying. But we just came from the point.
We're still grinding it out. We grinded it out in round 1. We grinded it out in round 2. Here we are grinding out in round 3, feeling good. And then you get Mike Tyson right hook, left hook, right across the face, right? On 9.
Yeah.
On a hole that really should be a birdie opportunity. You go and make a 10. 10s are not good for those listeners. Okay? We don't want 10s. Okay. Could have been a 9, could have been an 8, but we made a 10. But at that point, all the stress is gone. So I say, just all you're trying to do now is just hit shots, 1 shot at a time, which is really the mentality you should have the whole time around, always, everywhere. Is that all I'm trying to do is execute this 1 shot.
Yes, which I actually, as a whole, I think I was pretty good at this entire week.
Ask Jack, ask Tiger Woods, ask, the top, Kathy would say the same, people who can focus in their attention and their mindset is the most important shot's the one you got right in front of you. Because the shit you just did, can't undo it. And you can't worry about the 2 shots and 3 shots in advance because you got to take care of this one. Your attention and focus needs to be on this next shot. That's your most important shot you've ever hit. That's Tiger's saying to Charlie. Mm-hmm. Your most important shot ever in your life is when you're standing over. Yeah. That's what he tells him. So that's what I tried to get you into the mindset of just, I don't really, if we're going to throw up 9 more 6s, whatever, I don't care. Your number is irrelevant at this point. Take something out of that round because otherwise you do what I do and check out. And as soon as I check out, I'm checked out. I don't even want to be there. I'm done.
We don't want to be checked out.
And we don't want to be checked out. So find a reason to be there. Find a reason to stay there. And that is, how do I challenge myself on this next shot? Do I only play with 4 clubs for the rest of the round just to challenge myself? And that, I'm saying this again, not just to you, but everybody, is whatever that is. Let me try this new ball out. Let me see how this new ball reacts, for the last 6 holes, 9 holes. Let me only play with these clubs just to see how I do with that. Let me take driver out of the bag and see what kind of difference that makes. But you're relieving all of that pressure of, I have to shoot this, I have to shoot that. You take it off the table. Yeah,
and honestly, all the pressure was not relieved by any means after making a 10 on 9, because then the next thing you think about is like, okay, let's not make this situation even worse now. So there is still pressure.
Could it get worse?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've seen it get worse.
It can always get worse.
Yeah. Like if we say at the end of the day, I got an 81, I scored an 81 in round 3, it could have easily been a 95. It could have spiraled into...
That doesn't really resonate on a t-shirt. I think could have been an 8 is just better. We don't want to be could have been a 95, okay? We're not making those shirts.
Those shirts are not going to sell. Anyway, so we proceeded to have a great back 9. And again, he was challenging me to make certain shots during those 9 holes. And actually, those 9 holes, last part of that tournament, which I didn't want to play at all and was by no means a amazing showing, has now motivated me to get back out there and work hard. And that's the first time I've felt motivated in a long, long time.
And that is the keynote. So not just first time in a long time, but really all year. I mean, you kind of hit the snooze button in March. Yeah. And look at what it resulted. It resulted in a fairly poor season. The numbers reflected it. The handicap reflected it. The attitude reflected it. And again, a lot of personal stuff, professional stuff going on, other stuff, noise, distracting, and that's fine and that's normal. Happens to everybody.
And we go through it.
But after all of that, Andy Dufresne, all of that mile of shit that you go through to get out of the prison, it took a lousy 9 holes at the end to reignite the flame.
Now Adam gets to have his State Am start in 2 days.
Yeah,
yay!
I think I'm going to pull out. After seeing that 9th hole at Desert Highlands, this course is a little too much for me.
The Arizona Men's State Am is, actually, you don't even have to say men's. It's just the State Am. But that's interesting.
Do the tournaments need to identify?
For women's, they do. They don't identify with men's. It's the US Am or the US Women's Am. Interesting. So
for a different pod.
But yes, you are starting your State Am in 2 days. How are you feeling on a scale from 1 to 10? How ready are you?
I am not as checked out or ready to hit the panic exit button as you were, the eject button, I guess, if you will. But it's closer to that than it is LFG.
LFG. All right. Well, I wish you lots of good breaks. And nice shots.
You never wish people luck, by the way. You always tell them play well.
Oh, okay.
You don't say good luck. You want somebody beating you on good luck? No.
Okay. Well, you know what? In match play, I feel like a little bit of luck helps.
You want to lose a match on good luck.
You don't want your opponent to have all the luck, do you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. When your salutation to your opponent shouldn't be good luck. It's play well.
Adam.
You're welcome.
Play well.